Well, here we are once again. Thanks for coming by to the Free Spirit Kitchen. So I've had a few requests to show how I make kombucha. And I've come to the conclusion that I need to start at the end to get back to the beginning. And you'll see what I mean. So, to begin with, I will show you the final product and how I separate it and bottle it, and the next step for that, and then how I start a new batch. So, Miss Abby's over there. Excuse me, this is kitchen stuff. Why are you up here? No? So this is one of the teas that I use. This is organic green tea. And I like these because they're just simple pods. See you, Abby. Get down. Get down. Oh, it smells so good. I love the sound of crinkling tea bags. So, one batch I usually make green tea, and one I make black tea. Although they're both very good, and I can mix them if I'm starting to run low or whatever. This is the black English breakfast tea bags. I love plain packaging. And this is the same. The little pods. And the third that I use is hibiscus. Hibiscus tea bags. Raw from Egypt. A vibrant floral tea for health and vitality. And I like it because it adds a little tartness, almost like cranberry. And it has a beautiful color. And it's very good for your blood pressure. Hibiscus tea is an herbal tea known as much for its vibrant crimson hue as its many health benefits. Just the right balance of sweet and tart, this visually stunning elixir has been used for centuries to help lower blood pressure, support digestive health, and combat chronic inflammation. This bag contains 100 tea bags carefully filled with certified organic hibiscus flowers from Egypt. And this is a hemp fiber paper tea bag, free of dyes, adhesive, glue, or chlorine bleach, and non-GMO. No unnecessary waste from wrapping, strings, or staples. Just organic tea in premium bags. And now this one is an herbal tea and is caffeine free. The green tea is antioxidant rich, and it does have caffeine. Naturally occurring caffeine equivalent to 20 to 30% of the caffeine in a cup of coffee. So not too bad. And the English breakfast tea is a rich morning beverage made from premium black tea. And this one has naturally occurring caffeine equivalent to 30 to 50% of the caffeine in a cup of coffee. So I have been making separate batches for a while because I give part to someone that's a little bit more caffeine sensitive. But the last time I made it, I just mixed it all together. So I'll be getting to that in a bit. I'm going to be using this bowl to transfer the scobies. The scobies are these very strange looking jellyfish-like things. And they look particularly strange because of the coloring of the hibiscus tea. SCOBY is spelled S-C-O-B-Y, and it stands for symbiotic combination of bacteria and yeast. Sounds great, right? That's why they call it SCOBY instead. And I'll be using this because we will be straining the tea into this large 8-cup container, and then using this to fill up the bottles. And these will go in the refrigerator filled with the new batch. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is carefully remove the scobies from both jars. And I'm just going to put them together in here. So there are different ways of preparing your batches, and there's lots of information online. I have developed this system after making many batches, so I feel very comfortable with it. Utmost importance is very clean hands. Always have clean hands. Use wooden tools or plastic, no metal. And I do keep a muslin cloth over the top because I have cats. I have Miss Abby, who really hardly ever gets up on the counter, but you saw what she was doing. Also, it helps to keep little bugs and little fruit flies out, because in the summertime it does attract that kind of thing because it's a little bit acidic, a little bit vinegary. So we'll just take these off. I have nice rubber bands to hold it down. And then when I'm making a new batch, I usually just rinse these out with some nice warm water and then squeeze it out, let it dry. Just gets dusty on top. Okay. And now the fun part. I know this looks really gooey and ooey, and it feels kind of funny too, but it's very firm. It's, I don't know what I could relate it to. Kind of rubbery. So there's some air trapped underneath it, so it's a little bit carbonated, which is just what you want in your kombucha. So I'm just going to reach underneath it, and I'm going to lift the whole thing out. Now there's a few layers because it does divide almost every batch, but I have been enjoying this strength of the kombucha, so I'm going to leave this all together for a little bit longer. And I'm going to just put it in here and lay it down. It's like a pancake, like a rubbery pancake. And you can divide it, you can split it very easily, and don't worry about the kind of brown, yucky looking stuff in between, it's all good, unless it starts growing fuzz or mold or smelling really bad. I've never had a batch go bad like that, so if you were questioning it, you would just peel off the newest, which is, I think it's usually on the top, the newest one, because it forms, it grows. The main purpose of the SCOBY is to ferment the tea. And we're going to have a sweet tea, not sweet tea, but a sweetened tea. And the sugar is going to feed the SCOBY. So the SCOBY will digest all the sugar, and as it breaks down the sugar, it will also create digestive enzymes and probiotics, and it becomes a little bit more acidic, and it has so many good health qualities at that point. And most of the sugar will be gone, so it won't be very sweet, just a little bit sweet, so you can time it according to your preference, whether you like it a little bit more sour or a little bit more sweet. So, I take the other one out. This one looks even better. It's very thick. And I think this is the black tea. This one I could divide, and I probably will. Look at that. It's like 4 inches thick. You only need one layer, but look at that. Whoa. Can you see that? Oh my goodness. Whoa. Look at that. It's layers and layers thick. So this one I might divide out, and it comes apart very easily right here. So I probably use this for the tea, put that back in, and then the other part I will spread it out on the paper towels, and then I'll put it on a dehydrator. I have a 5-rack dehydrator, and and before I do that, I'll slather this paste on it. I have one that's beef flavored paste, and the other one is chicken. And I will slather that on. I like that word, slather. And then I put it in the dehydrator overnight, and it becomes the most amazing dog chewies. Very healthy and very delicious to the dogs. You can tell they just go crazy for it. And I haven't made them in a while, so I think I will split some of these. Okay, so in addition to the SCOBYs, I always remember to reserve 1 cup of the newest brew as a starter for the next batch. So since I'm just doing this all together, I don't mind. Let's see, I'll get my plastic cup. Okay. So this is a half a cup. I'm going to tilt it just a little bit. Okay. So you have to be very careful. You don't want to crack the glass. That one, and a little bit of this one. Okay. Very good. And now, we'll start the bottling. So these are really wonderful. I used plastic for a while, and then I had some other glass that didn't have a tight-fitting top, but I was sealing it with plastic wrap, and I finally just broke down and bought 4 of these glass kombucha bottles, which have a nice tight seal with this little plastic insert, so you leave a little bit of space here because it will get a little more carbonated as it's in the refrigerator for a little bit. So you want it not to explode, so this expands a little bit. So let's see how much we have. Get 2 bottles ready. And Let's do this one. Just going to pour it through the sieve. For the most part, there's nothing in it at all. But as you get to the bottom, there's a little bit of the scoby sediment, so I filter that out. You see, it's quite clear. Don't want to drip it, but I'm going to show you. Clear. And now pour this into the first jar. You can see it's a little bit carbonated. And I'm going to fill it to about there. I'll get ready for the next one. But I do like to do a little taste test. It's a little bit light in color compared to the last batch. This was the last batch. This one actually was a little bit over, meaning that all of the sugar had been digested and it had become pretty sour. So it's almost like an apple cider vinegar at this point, which I'm still drinking a little bit of it every day. Well, this is the last bottle. And I'm also using it in a little bit of salad dressing, so I'm not going to waste it. We have other bottles if I need to use something else. So we'll put the cap on this one. Put it tight. And then tomorrow I'll come and undo it a little bit and see if it's getting too bubbly. But that'll sit in the refrigerator for a couple of days. And it'll be ready. And then the second one, do the same. Put this back on. Let me pour out some more. It's going to be a big batch. Okay. So you can see there's a little bit of sediment at the bottom. So we're going to do a little bit of glass cleaning. I'm going to run some hot water in here. And I'm just going to use a paper towel with my hand on the inside and wipe it out and then rinse it with distilled water. So distilled water will ensure that there's no organisms, there's nothing that shouldn't be in with my SCOBY. So okay, so now I'm going to clean out this sieve. Has a little bit of the sediment in there. So I'm just going to quickly tap that out in the sink. This one, we can use a lot of different things, as long as if it's in the refrigerator and it has a tight top. Okay. Perfect. All right. Now before we put this batch away, I'm going to do a little taste test. Let's see. Yeah, pretty good. A couple of days in the refrigerator, it'll get nice and sparkly. The flavor is good. It's just the perfect amount of sweet, not too much. A little bit tart, but not so much. Perfect. So we have 3 bottles of that. And now we do the same for this one. And we're going to use this. And what else do we have? All right then. We also have this one. Plastic, but that's okay. Has a nice tight top and it's very easy to pour. That'll work perfectly. All right. And we will filter this one. Hello, hello, hello. Kombucha, kombucha. That one's more sparkly. I can hear it. Tick, 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 tick. Okay. And I'm gonna fill this one. Oh, beauty. It's beautiful. Sparkly. I like serving it in this one. Very fancy. Okay, that one will go in the refrigerator. And pour the rest of this. Well, maybe we'll just put this little extra starter since this one's so bubbly. Okay. I'll need another one of these, I think. I have a lot in here. The main thing is to do this when you don't have any interruptions. Once you start, you don't want to stop. Alright, we still have a little bit left. I think what I'm going to do is my smart water bottle, and this will be for me for tomorrow. There we go. Perfect. And all of this gets rinsed out. I don't really use soap on all of these things because I don't want to affect the beautiful balance of the bacteria, yeast, sugar, tea, all that good stuff. All right, this for this one. Way to go, way to go. Well, I have it over by the dishes. Oh, now we still have these guys hanging out. But don't worry, they're in their juicy juice, so they're fine. And if need be, you could put them in the refrigerator, cover it over, keep it refrigerated, and they would become kind of dormant because they will eventually run out of sugar. I have kept them that way a couple of times when I've moved and didn't have a chance to set everything up, so I just put them into stasis, you might say. So that's what I'm going to do for the moment. I'm going to leave these here. I'm going to clean these out at the sink and then rinse them with distilled water. And then we're going to make some tea. But we're just going to, well, it's not exactly sun tea because I'm not going to put it in the sun. But it's going to be an overnight cold brew tea. Yeah, cold brew. Okay, so I will be back in just a minute. Okay, now I'm going to put some water in both of these to brew the tea. And typically the first batch or two can be smaller, maybe just half of this jar. Because when the SCOBY comes to you, it might be very small, but it will grow as each batch goes on. It'll stretch and grow. Okay, that looks good. This one, I'm leaving room for the thick SCOBY and also for the starter tea. And that won't happen until tomorrow, so this is part one. We're going to let the tea brew overnight. Tea. So let's see. A little bit low on hibiscus. Let's see. So I like to use about 7. Usually use 7 tea bags. Oops. One of them must be leaking. Okay. So first I'm going to do hibiscus in both, and I'm going to use 3 hibiscus in each jar. And then I'm going to use 4 each of the green tea and the black. So I do a green tea, habit. I was dating everything and changing the label, but I just kept one as a G for green and one B for black. I like to do taste tests and see which blend tastes better, but since I've been making the hibiscus, I've just kind of stuck with it because it's so good. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 of English breakfast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. I apologize, that's my cat drinking out of the sink. You like that? You have a dish of water right there, and you have another one in the other room. No, he likes to drink out of the sink. Look at this. Swirly. Swirly, whirly. Of course, I always used to boil water and brew the tea bags and then pull the tea bags out and then add the sugar and let it all cool. But during the summer, it was too much heat on the stove boiling this much water. So I tried it this way one time and it was perfectly good. I just love the hibiscus. So good. Yeah. So this is where you can take a wooden spoon and just mix it up a bit. All right, that's the beginning. And I'll be back tomorrow to show you the tea. And it's pretty warm in the house, even though we have gone from summer to fall like that. It's so chilly right now. It's so nice. I've even had the heater on a couple nights. We got rain last night, so we had some fog, and we had wind, and then we had rain, and it woke me up about 2 in the morning. But we only got like an hour or 2 of mild rain, but it smelled so good, and everything felt cozy and wintry this morning. So I like to keep a warm mat underneath these in the wintertime because this kitchen tends to be a little chilly. But it's nice and warm in here because I've had the heater on for overnight, so I think it'll be fine. The glass is a little chilly. But we'll let this brew overnight, and then I'm going to dissolve sugar, a somewhat obscene amount of sugar with hot water. So we'll use like a cup of hot water and almost a cup, 3/4 of a cup of sugar for each one. And we will add that after the tea is brewed. So we just boil the water just to dissolve the sugars. Put the sugar water in, and then as long as it isn't too warm, then we'll put the scobies back in with the starter kombucha. So this will be just on the counter tonight and covered, and then we'll take care of it tomorrow. So, in the meantime, let me get a little bit of plastic wrap to cover all of this because I'm going to wash the muslin cloth. here to use for my salads. This will stay here. Keep them protected. And all of this is going to go in the fridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a half. So there you are. Tomorrow I'll be back and we'll finish up the new batch. And once the SCOBY is put back into the sugar tea, it'll stay for 1 to 2 weeks, depending on how warm the kitchen is. The warmer it is, the faster it goes through the process. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. All right, I'm back to finish this up. And nice clean covers over the jars. And SCOBYs have been hanging out at room temperature. And now it's time to make some sugar water to add to the tea and make it sweet tea. All right then. Let's get the sugar dissolved. Use a large cup. I'm going to do both together and then just pour some into each. So for a full jar, it would normally be 1 cup of sugar, but I tend to use less because, well, I just do like it a little bit more sour than sweet. So I want to make sure that most of the sugar is able to be digested by the SCOBYs. So I'm going to use 3/4 of a cup. And a little bit less of 3/4, about a half, I don't know. And then I'm going to add some boiling water. On this guy. too much. We only need enough to dissolve the sugar so we can pour it. And we don't have to wait for it to cool down. We can add it to the tea because the tea is nice and cool. Because normally when you brew the tea and then remove the bags and then add the sugar, it's just too hot to put the SCOBY in, so you have to wait anyway. So this way I can just set up the tea. Oh yeah, I didn't even show you, but of course I removed the tea bags. And then I remembered I was making a video, so that's all I did. So you can see how nice and dark it got overnight. I just fished the tea bags out, and now it's nice and dissolved, just about. So that was about a cup of hot water. Don't want to use too much more because I don't want to dilute the tea. And then we're going to add the starter, the extra kombucha from the last batch. Okay, here you go. And again, always clean hands. Yes, I'm wearing the same top so I can have continuity. All right. Give it one last stir. So a little bit more into this one than this one. You can always do it in 2 separate batches if you want, it's no problem. So that was good. Give it a stir with a wooden or plastic spoon. Make sure that the sugar is completely dissolved. It smells good. All right, now let's open up the SCOBY bowl. SCOBY bowl. Time to get in there. Okay. So first, I'm going to take the top SCOBYs. Oopsie. Well, maybe I'm going to let it go for one more batch. Pretty thick. Wow, there's a lot. All right, maybe not. Change of plans. And this piece picked up all in one piece by itself, so this one's going to go in here. And you just lay it down, but it might float, it might go sideways, it might sink. It's fine, just let it be. And then the next batch that comes up is this big blobby. And it's a little bit thicker, so I'm going to put it in the fuller jar. There we go. It's a little bit slimy, don't be afraid of it. It's yummy good stuff. There we are. So these extras I will leave in the jar, leave in the bowl, and dry them out a bit. And then I'm going to do a dehydrator batch with the flavoring on it for the dogs. And maybe I'll show you that. I don't know. That takes a while too, so that'll be another day. Yeah. So let me see. I just put these in here for right now so I can get get the liquid better. Here we go. And so I don't make a big mess. I'll just scoop the starter. So you want at least a cup for each one. This is the extra kombucha from the last batch that I'm adding to the new batch. Yeah. So I add a little bit extra to this one just to even out the amount a little bit. So really the only crucial part of this is to have clean hands and not to use metal. So, and to use a good pure water. So I would never use tap water. I use distilled water because that's what I drink as well. I put shungite in it, and yeah, that's what I've been drinking for years and years. But you can use a good spring water or something that doesn't have chlorine and fluoride and all that other stuff. So that's it. So now I'm going to just wipe up a little bit here. Here's my paper towels. All right. Now these guys will just stay here. You can see this one. Can you see that? It dropped to the bottom. It's just sitting on the bottom. But it'll start digesting the sugar, and then it will rise up. And it'll start growing and making beautiful kombucha. There's that one. And this one, you can see, is all the way at the top. It's kind of partly submerged. There you go. And I usually just write on the calendar what day I started the fermenting. And this can get a little bit of air through there, but no bugs and no kitty cats. And in about 10 days to 2 weeks, this will start getting a little bit bubbly. You'll notice the SCOBY will be getting a little thicker. And then you can just use a plastic spoon or cup and just squeeze past the SCOBY and scoop up a little bit of the kombucha and taste it and see if it's to your liking. Some people really like it sweeter, and that's fine too. I tend to let it go until it's half sweet, half sour. And then if there's a little carbonation, all the better, because it means it's been kept pretty warm. And then if it's not carbonated, you can put it into the bottles like I did with, actually I was drinking this morning. You can put the bottles just on the counter with the top closed and just check it in a couple of days and just see if it's ready yet. So once it starts getting bubbly, you can put it in the refrigerator. At least that's how I've been doing it. And I don't care if it does get carbonated enough. It doesn't bother me if it's flat as well. It's the flavor and the health benefits that I look forward to. So you can get SCOBYs by making friends with somebody that's making kombucha and ask them if they can have a SCOBY. So there's always plenty. And if not, you can also find them online. I would go for a company that has organic SCOBYs, and it'll come with instructions, and it'll be in a sealed pouch with some starter kombucha, and you'll be ready to start. Usually the new ones are only about yay big, so it would, it'd be smaller than the opening of this, but just do a half of a batch the first time, and then the SCOBY will start to grow as it is fed by the tea and the sugar. So, yeah, let me know if you're going to try it. You can do it without the hibiscus. You just make it with regular tea and sugar, and then on the bottling process, when you're ready to transfer it, you can add flavorings then. You could add syrups, or you could add another flavor, tea, whatever you like at that point. But this is how I do it at Free Spirit Kitchen. Yay, I finally made the kombucha video. All right then. Well, maybe I will do my little morning shot. This is the one that I'm going to be doing shots in the morning because it's very acidic. It's almost like doing the apple cider vinegar. And it does have some carbonation, you can see. Let me do a little shot. Cheers to your health. Yeah. It's almost like a red wine vinegar. It's really good. I like sour. I like pickles. And I used to ask for extra salad so I could just pour vinegar on lettuce and sort of drink the vinegar. So I've always liked apple cider vinegar. So this is a good way to get your immune system a little boost with all the good stuff that comes with kombucha. Here's to a long, healthy, happy life to you. There we go. I should actually do that first thing in the morning. But there we have it. I wanted to share it with you. Well, thanks for coming by. I'm glad I got to show you how I make kombucha now that I've got some really good batches rolling. We'll see how we do over the winter. But I am going to take my the mat that I use to germinate seeds, the warming mat. I'm going to be putting that in here and kind of wrap it loosely around the jars and just maintain a warmer temperature in the kitchen overnight. So I'll just have it on at nighttime because it helps the batch to brew a little bit faster to keep it, 75 or so. And this house is usually much less than that. So that's all I have for kombucha, other than it's very good and healthy, and I've been making my own for so long, and I just feel great. So give it a try. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye for now.